The toast to myself video trend went viral, and my husband's female bestie decided to join in. With a single sentence, she captured the attention of every gossip, loving netizen. First toast is to me. When my best bro's girlfriend thought we were having an affair, I French kissed him for 10 minutes straight. We're just bros. Whoever got a reaction was the dog. Second toast is to me. We played truth or dare, and he hid our used condom under the bed in their master bedroom for a whole year. The tigress would probably die of rage if she knew. Haha. Third toast is to me. I faked a few tears over the phone, and my best bro ditched his pregnant wife to fly abroad with me to cheer me up. My heart sank with each word, and a wave of nausea washed over me. Last year, after I found out I was pregnant, my husband, Jack, was sent on a business trip for 3 whole months. I didn't cry or make a scene. I had no intention of letting this pair of scumbags off the hook. During my postpartum recovery, I was bored and scrolling through videos. My finger flicked, and a familiar ID popped up. Username: Tiffany the Ultimate Sweetheart. She was wearing a revealing crop top, holding a beer bottle between 2 fingers. Her expression exaggerated. It was my husband's female bestie, Tiffany. She was in a live stream, shaking her head and wailing dramatically. We're so close we could share a pair of underwear. But his girlfriend actually suspected us. So, we had to prove our innocence with our actions, Tiffany said, a sly smile playing on her lips. Guess if he got a reaction or not. Then, she added with feigned innocence. Okay, that's enough. If his girlfriend finds out, she'll get all jealous again. The comment section exploded. Faced with the netizens' sarcastic remarks, Tiffany was furious, but tried to act nonchalant. A top comment read, "The green tea vibes are so strong. I'm gonna puke. Gag. You know the official girlfriend minds. Yet you post this deliberately. If you get flamed, you just have to take it." Even when the negative comments hit 100,000, Tiffany didn't delete the video. The netizens thought she couldn't bear to lose the millions of views. But I knew. Tiffany wanted me to see it. My husband, Jack, had been promoted to vice president last month, with his annual salary rising to the multi-millions. Tiffany was getting impatient to force me out of my position. Fighting back my disgust, I saved the video to my phone. When evidence of cheating is hand-delivered to you, it would be foolish not to accept it. Thinking about the condom Tiffany mentioned, I immediately had the nanny prepare the guest room. I picked up my daughter and left that filthy space. Even looking at it for another second made me sick. At 10 p.m., Jack came home as usual, reeking of smoke and alcohol. He collapsed onto the sofa and gave me an apologetic smile. Sorry, honey. These networking events are unavoidable. If this had been before, I would have chided him for not considering our daughter. A baby's immune system is weak. She shouldn't be exposed to smoke. I had reminded him repeatedly, but he always claimed to have a bad memory. The truth was, he never cared about us. Today, I said nothing. I just informed him that we would be sleeping in separate rooms from now on. A flash of relief crossed Jack's eyes. Ahem. That's a good idea. We can be together again after you've fully recovered. Hearing those words from his own mouth, it would be a lie to say I wasn't heartbroken. After I gave birth, he became very critical of my postpartum body, always saying things like, "How do female celebrities bounce back the day after?" After seeing the reality of postpartum bleeding, he avoided me like the plague. For the past half-month, even though we slept in the same bed, we used separate blankets, with enough space between us to fit another Tiffany. Jack tried to justify it. Honey, I'm just thinking about your health. We'll have plenty of time in the future. The future won't be necessary either. I replied coldly. What do you mean? I deliberately pinched my nose. Can't you smell it? There's a rank odor coming from under our bed. Jack shot up from the sofa, cold sweat dripping from his forehead. Seeing no suspicion in my expression, he slowly relaxed. I haven't smelled anything. I nodded. Maybe I was mistaken then. Just as Jack breathed a sigh of relief, I turned at the guest room door. He flinched. Honey, is there anything else you need? Nothing major. I was bored during the day and bought a few bags. Don't forget to pay for them. A mix of anxiety and guilt meant he would agree to anything I asked right now. Of course. Buy more. Don't you dare try to save your husband money. Jack yelled after me, closing the door. I sneered to myself. I wouldn't dream of it. If I don't skin you alive, it means I wasn't even trying. Jack paid for the bags without hesitation, transferring hundreds of thousands of dollars in an instant. My anger subsided slightly, and I quickly fell asleep. In the dead of night, I heard rustling from the master bedroom. Jack had finally waited until both the nanny and I were asleep. He tiptoed out of bed and got on the floor to find that old, disgusting condom. He stretched his arm, fumbling around for a long time before he finally found it. A moment later, the sound of retching came from the bathroom. I could imagine just how disgusting that thing must have been. The thought of having slept in that bed for a whole year nearly made me vomit too. A dirty bed can be cleaned, but a scumbag is rotten to the core. Thinking of Jack and Tiffany, that despicable pair, made my teeth ache with hatred. Jack and I were college classmates. He pursued me for 3 years before we officially got together in our senior year. After we became a couple, Jack introduced me to his circle of friends. As the younger son of a nouveau riche family, he was spoiled rotten, and his friends were all fun, loving playboys. In a private lounge, amidst the crowd of rich kids, Tiffany stood out in an outfit that was barely their lingerie. Her audacious attire left me stunned, a deep sense of discomfort washing over me. It was only because she was Jack's friend that I didn't turn and leave immediately. Jack smiled and introduced me to his buddies. "Nice to meet you, sis. In-law." They all greeted me. Only Tiffany's face fell. She had been standing on a table, and she suddenly jumped down on one foot. The so-called bros rushed to catch her, but she playfully pushed them away. Tiffany walked up to us, poked Jack in the chest, and said with a sour tone, "Look at you, all grown up. Where'd you find such a goodie? 2 shoes." Jack didn't find her behavior inappropriate at all. He just ruffled her hair. "Hurry up and greet your sis. In-law. Hey, wouldn't that mess with the family tree, son?" Tiffany declared loudly. Her comment made everyone else laugh. They were clearly used to this kind of joke. Pleased with herself, Tiffany pushed Jack onto a sofa and linked her arm with mine. "You're a real beauty. Don't let a flower like you get stuck in a pile of cow dung." Jack protested, grabbing her ear. "You little brat. Who are you calling cow dung?" "Ow, I'm sorry. Tiffany ran off, and Jack chased after her. They flitted around like a pair of butterflies. Tiffany deliberately slowed down, and they playfully collided. My face went cold. I swung the bag in my hand and threw it straight at them. "What are you two doing? Playing Tom and Jerry?" They both froze. Tiffany apologized, but her thigh was rubbing against Jack's. "We're all friends here. We're just a playful bunch. Right, guys?" The others quickly agreed. "Yeah, sis. In-law." Tiffany's always been wild. That's just how she is. Tiffany's eyes were full of mockery. "Beauty, you're so old. Fashioned. Can you even take a joke? Fine. You wanna play? Let's play." I was never one to take things lying down. I moved like the wind. A slap for the woman, and a flying kick for each of the men. 15 years of Muay Thai training wasn't for nothing. The entire room of them was no match for me. I pulled a silk handkerchief from my bag and threw it at Jack's face. "Change. Or break up." Jack scrambled to my side, using the handkerchief to wipe himself off. I was wrong. "I'll be more careful from now on. Charlotte, please give me a chance to change. What you can't have is always the most tempting. And what you've just gotten is too." Jack was utterly obedient to me then. In the end, Jack presented a 10-carat diamond ring to make peace, and the matter was finally put to rest. After that incident, Jack did behave himself. He would send me a video check in before 10 p.m. every night, swearing he would never go to inappropriate places again. This continued until the eve of our wedding. I was busy with last-minute preparations and didn't realize until after midnight that Jack hadn't replied to my messages since the afternoon. I called him, and he fumbled to answer. "Hey, honey, you're still awake. Just finished. Where are you? Why haven't you been replying? I'm also busy with the wedding tomorrow. Got to go. Honey, I'm just double-checking the venue." Jack's breathing suddenly became ragged. It sounded like he wasn't alone. "Get some sleep," I said, pretending not to notice, and hung up. The next second, I initiated a video call. Jack answered instantly. His clothes were perfectly buttoned, not a hint of disarray. "See, honey, I'm at the hotel. checking out our wedding venue. I didn't respond. Seeing my expression, Jack grabbed his coat and drove to my side. The moment I opened the door, he pulled me into his arms. Don't you worry, my sweet wife. We're legally married now. I'm done messing around with those guys. I was skeptical, but we were already married. The most important thing was to wait and see. My family had always taught me to be brave and resourceful, to not lose my head in a crisis. After all, a direct confrontation rarely maximizes your benefits. Jack pushed me onto a table and started untying his tie with one hand. I bent my knee and pressed it against his abdomen, pushing him away. Go take a shower. By the time Jack came out of the bathroom, I had locked the bedroom door and was fast asleep. Only with enough sleep could I be at my best for the wedding tomorrow. The next day, at the wedding, the officiant droned on. Our parents sat on either side of the aisle. Everyone was focused on Jack and me on the stage. The groom may now kiss the bride, the officiant announced. Just then, a furtive figure appeared from the back, heading straight for my parents' seats. Tiffany suddenly popped up, startling my parents. She was holding a tray with 3 glasses of wine. My mother, thinking she was a clueless waitress, said, "Just put it on the table. You may go." A flash of hatred crossed Tiffany's eyes, but she forced a smile. "Ma'am, you've misunderstood. I'm not a waitress. I'm a childhood friend of Jack's." Hearing this, everyone turned to look. Tiffany smoothed her hair and said in a sickly sweet voice, "Uncle, Auntie, a toast to you both." Out of politeness, my parents hesitantly took the glasses she offered. "Uncle, Auntie, if my bro does anything wrong in the future, I hope you'll cut him some slack for my sake." My parents were stunned. How could a junior speak to her elders like that? It was utterly disrespectful. Tiffany clinked glasses with my parents and downed her drink. I could clearly see that when they toasted. She held her glass much higher than my parents. The wedding guests snickered and whispered amongst themselves. This kind of incident was a huge loss of face for both families. The officiant had never seen anything like it and was desperately trying to figure out how to smooth things over. The kiss was postponed. I pushed Jack's approaching face away and made him look at the scene. "Explain. Why is she here?" Jack's expression was just as ugly. "I don't know. I really have no idea." "No idea. You were with her yesterday when you answered my call, weren't you?" It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Jack tried to defend himself. "We just happened to run into each other. And I specifically warned her not to come. I don't know how she—" I cut him off. "It's useless to say anything now. You brought this mess here. You clean it up." Jack called his driver, who quickly arrived with several security guards and dragged Tiffany away. "Jack, why are you kicking me out? I was trying to help you." Tiffany was a crying, snotty mess, dragged across the floor like a piece of meat. Jack turned his back. Was it out of embarrassment? Or was he heartbroken for his little childhood friend? After the wedding, Jack deleted Tiffany's contact information in front of our entire family. To show his remorse, he took extra time off from work, extending our honeymoon to 2 months. The relaxing beach vacation was slowly mending the rift between us. I couldn't guarantee Jack's fidelity, but I could guarantee his absolute devotion to me. If I pointed east, he would never go west. If he couldn't even do that, I would never have agreed to marry him. But that didn't mean I was okay with his little schemes. One evening, as Jack was resting in our ocean view villa, his phone on the table buzzed several times. The screen lit up, showing it was his good friend, Leo. I watched as Jack's Adam's apple bobbed. He didn't pick up the phone. "You should check it. It might be something urgent," I said. Jack waved his hand. "Nah. What could he want? Probably just wants to play video games. Come on, let's go back to the room." The more he tried to get me away, the more suspicious I became. At my insistence, Jack reluctantly unlocked his phone. I snatched it without a second thought. It was one thing for you to ignore Tiffany for your wife's sake, but to publicly kick her out and delete her contact. Are you even human? Tiffany's been drinking herself into a stupor at bars every night. She's the girl we all grew up protecting. If we hadn't pushed her, she would have kept covering for you. You'd better at her back and come home to see her within 2 days. This time, I didn't have to say anything. Jack immediately deleted Leo's contact. He dropped to his knees at my feet. "I'm sorry. Honey." "Sorry for what?" "A man should be devoted to his wife. A married man. Shouldn't associate with shady people. Jack's words were so convincing that it was then I decided to have a child. I've always loved children, but I couldn't have one on my own. And Jack was handsome and in good shape, though a bit of a playboy. His high intelligence compensated for it. He was my carefully chosen candidate for a father. Our relationship was at its peak then. It was the perfect time to have a baby. And so it happened. By the end of our honeymoon, I had found out I was pregnant. Looking back, Jack seemed happy on the surface, but he had no real emotional connection to this unexpected child. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten involved with Tiffany after I became pregnant. Men truly are ruled by their lower halves. Once they have something, they stop cherishing it. Gazing at my sleeping daughter beside me, my heart gradually calmed. Who needs a man? The child is what's most important. Since becoming pregnant, Jack and I had not been intimate. It was a blessing in disguise that I hadn't caught any diseases from him. Tiffany wanted to disgust me into a divorce, but I wouldn't give her the satisfaction. The main event was just beginning. In the morning, after Jack left for work, I got up early and contacted a private investigator, paying a premium for a top Tier 1 to gather evidence of the affair. He was fast. He even managed to recover deleted chat logs from Jack's phone. Usually, Jack was wary of my surprise checks and would delete everything. But the power of money is immense. The PI sent a compressed file directly to my phone. "Ma'am, your husband's chat history is pretty explosive. You might want to take a breather before you look," he advised kindly. "It's fine. I'm actually curious to see just how explosive it is." After unzipping the file, I understood why it was 100 gigabytes. Countless nude photos and videos, all sent by Tiffany to Jack late at night, and all sorts of other strange pictures, with the inappropriate parts exposed and the parts that didn't need covering covered. High definition and censored, enough to ruin both of their reputations. The most recent nude was from August 5th, the day before I gave birth to our daughter. Tiffany was wearing nothing but black stockings. She was posed by a hotel pool. Red wine spilled over her chest, a cucumber in her mouth. A wet and wild seduction. More provocative than the cover of some adult websites. Under the photo was an audio clip. "Jackie, boy, I'm on a diet. You know, I only ate half a cucumber all day. I'm so hungry. Can you feed me something else? My little tummy wants to be filled." The implication couldn't have been clearer. No man can refuse a woman who throws herself at him. And Jack was no exception. Knowing my due date was August 6th, Jack still left me alone in the hospital room that day to go have a secret tryst with Tiffany. I closed my phone. These two scumbags weren't worth me causing a scene at his company. He had just been promoted, and I wasn't about to give up a multi-million-dollar salary so easily. I would use Jack's remaining guilt and conscience to maximize the benefits for my daughter and me. Just then, the PI called. "Ma'am, that woman is at your husband's company. Should we send someone to catch them in the act?" I thought for a moment. "Just block them in. Be discreet. Don't let anyone see you." "You got it, ma'am. We'll handle it perfectly. Not even a fly will get out." He agreed immediately, his tone more full of excitement for the gossip than any complaint about the work. After hanging up, I told the nanny to watch the baby, put on some simple makeup, and went out to catch the cheaters. It was my first time doing this, and I was a little excited myself. I drove to Jack's company. The PI's young assistant appeared furtively and led me to their secret meeting spot. We took the elevator to the 26th floor. The PI and another assistant were diligently guarding the door. Few employees ever came to this floor, so they didn't have to worry about being seen. They were pressing their ears to the door, with recording pens clipped to their chests. They had thought of details even a client wouldn't, determined not to miss a single piece of evidence. I strode over, glanced at the room number, and sneered. If I remembered correctly, this was Jack's secretary's break room. It seemed an office affair was no longer thrilling enough for them. They needed the added excitement of doing it on his secretary's bed. Everyone was a part of their little game. The PI handed me a bottle of water. "Ma'am, you're finally here. They've been at it for a while. I was afraid you'd miss the show." I didn't take the water. "You've done a great job." "Thank you. You can go now." The three of them stared at me, their eyes wide. "Can you handle them on your own? What if they start fighting?" Who said I was going to fight them? Though they were full of doubt, the client had spoken. They quickly left. Once the elevator doors closed, I stood at the door and knocked with a steady rhythm. Knock, 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 knock. The room wasn't very soundproof. I could even hear Tiffany and Jack's activities. Knock, knock, knock. The sounds from inside and outside created a duet. The two, lost in their passion, finally heard the noise. Tiffany was still cooing. Jack, his lower body tensing again, couldn't be bothered with anything else. He yelled at the door, "Get lost." Hearing this, I stopped knocking and spoke. "It's me. Open the door." The two inside were instantly on high alert. Jack had thought it was his secretary coming back early and was trying to shoo him away. He never expected me to show up for a surprise visit. From outside, I heard a wet pop, and Tiffany's moans turned into a shriek. Being interrupted mid-act is never pleasant. Soon, the sound of frantic dressing came from inside. A chair was knocked over in their haste. Half a minute later, Jack opened the door. His body blocked my view inside. I feigned curiosity. "Why are you in the secretary's break room instead of your office?" "I thought I heard a chair fall." I tiptoed to peek inside. Jack had hidden Tiffany under a table, blocking her with a chair. It was a decent hiding spot. You wouldn't notice her if you weren't looking carefully. But Tiffany deliberately exposed half of her body. A flash of white skin catching my eye. Whatever Jack feared most, she wanted to happen. She wanted me to discover their affair. As long as the truth was hidden, they would have to tiptoe around me. Jack's neck turned red. "Oh, I was just checking for safety hazards. You know my secretary smokes. He almost set the office on fire once." I sneered internally, but took a step back. "Oh, as long as everything's okay. I thought you were doing something shady behind my back." As soon as I said it, sweat started pouring down his face. I smiled brightly. "Why are you so nervous?" "I'm just kidding. Are you done with your inspection? Let's go back to your office." A nauseating smell wafted out of the room. If I stood there any longer, I was afraid I would throw up. Jack was relieved. "Inspection's done. Let's go. Let's go." To my office, Jack and I left, leaving a furious Tiffany behind. A smart woman doesn't act like a shrew. No expose, no anger, pure torture. In his office, Jack asked cautiously, "Honey, you didn't hear any other noises, did you?" I played dumb. "What noises?" He sighed in relief and continued to test the waters. "Why the surprise visit today?" I chuckled. "You really think I came to check up on you?" I took out the thermos I had prepared, filled with chicken soup, and said, fighting back nausea, "I made you some soup to build up your strength. A thank you for your generous payment last night." Jack was finally completely relieved, seeing me so in the dark. Even cooking for him and bringing it to his office made him feel guilty. He pulled out a bank card. "There's $2 million in here. Spend it however you like." Who wouldn't take a good deal? I cooed a few sweet nothings in his ear, getting him completely flustered before I left. Men, as long as the flag at home is flying, they don't mind a few flags on the outside. The more understanding the wife at home is, the more reluctant they are to get a divorce. That evening, I saw another local video while scrolling. Tiffany, the ultimate sweetheart, had a new post with the caption, "Doing it under his wife's nose. Double the thrill." The video was shot in Jack's office. Tiffany looked triumphant. Her face flushed. The comment section was once again a battlefield. I saved the video and screenshots as usual, pretending I knew nothing. Thanks to the PI's round, the clock surveillance, I was always able to interrupt the oblivious pair at the perfect moment. In a parking garage at midnight, I suddenly appeared, and the two, naked, had to hide in the cramped, suffocating trunk. At a swimming pool on a weekday afternoon, I suddenly appeared, and to hide, they nearly drowned themselves by staying underwater. At a company camping trip, in their tent, I released 2 large dogs. The entangled pair thought they were wild wolves and nearly fainted from fear. After 2 months, Jack had dark circles under his eyes and had lost a significant amount of weight, and I continued to make him different. Health, soups every day, then go to various places to scare the life out of them, whether out of guilt or to cover his tracks. Jack was practically hemorrhaging money. This suited me perfectly. I had converted most of our family's assets into jewelry and designer bags, which would be considered my personal property in a divorce. It was almost time to close the net. I bought a ton of promotion for every one of Tiffany's videos, even the least Viewed one had tens of millions of views. Tiffany's mental state was already fragile. The constant stream of hate from netizens was too much for her. She couldn't take it anymore. Even if Jack wasn't willing, she was going to force a confrontation. The two were terrified of me. To be safe, Jack chose the most secure location for their tryst, a hotel. Just as they entered, Tiffany said in a panic, "Oh no, I forgot the lube." Jack let out a long breath. Phew, I thought Charlotte had appeared out of nowhere again. Wait here, I'll go buy some. He handed her his wallet. You go book the room. Tiffany clutched the wallet, a triumphant smile on her face. His credit card was in the most prominent slot, but she ignored it. Instead, she said to the receptionist, "I'm a Gold Card member at your hotel." At the same time, I received a notification from the hotel on my phone, complete with the room number. So, you really couldn't hold it in anymore, I thought. The next second, I called the PI. Bring more people. Call the reporters too. This time, we're catching them for real. At 11 p.m., a group of us arrived at the hotel. When the front desk learned we were there to catch a cheater, and that the Gold Card member was me, they let us in without a word and even gave us a spare key card. The moment I ripped the blanket off the two of them, I remained calm and elegant. Tiffany was prepared and wasn't scared. Jack, on the other hand, was completely terrified. "Honey, how did you find us here?" I raised an eyebrow. "So, this is my fault." Tiffany dropped the act, standing up naked and looking down at me. "Since you know Jack loves me, hurry up and make way. Take your worthless daughter and get out of his house." Jack pushed her. "What nonsense are you talking about? My wife is Charlotte. You're just my mistress. Don't you think you're getting a little too bold?" Hearing such righteous words from a cheater's mouth was a ridiculous contradiction. Tiffany was stunned. "Didn't you say you regretted marrying her? That her mom, bod, doesn't turn you on at all? You even said that if you hadn't married her, we would have been together long ago." Jack was impatient. "Damn it. You actually believe the things I say in bed." I let the two of them have their dramatic scene, then turned to the door. "Did you get everything?" The lead PI gave me a smile and an "Okay" sign. Jack and Tiffany finally noticed the cameras at the door, and the crowd of onlookers hiding behind it. Tiffany screamed and grabbed a coat to cover herself. "You crazy bitch." And I turned and left, ignoring Jack's pleas as he fell to his knees. The next day, the local financial news and popular video channels all exploded. Local VP's extramarital affair exposed. VPN mistress' explosive chat logs. Cheating non-stop from wife's pregnant daughter. First 3 months. Character matters. Can this company's products still be trusted? Though Tiffany's private photos were censored, anyone who knew her could recognize her. They all called to ask what was going on. The all-powerful netizens found her online account, and Tiffany, the ultimate sweetheart, was once again under siege. The private messages she received were either insults or propositions. Tiffany was truly too ashamed to face anyone. Jack wasn't much better off. He was facing being fired. His parents were nouveau riche with no real connections, and most of the family's wealth was reserved for the eldest son. As the younger son, his best path was to make it on his own. He absolutely could not lose this job. A week after the incident, Jack finally came home. The moment he walked in, he started slapping himself across the face, trying to win my sympathy and forgiveness. "Please, honey, for our daughter's sake, can you issue a statement to clear this up? I can't lose my job." I was non-committal. I threw the divorce agreement and asset division papers I had prepared at him. "Fine. Sign your name first." Jack read through them, his face growing darker. "Charlotte, we were married. How can you be so cruel?" I said nothing, just stared at him until he got unnerved. "Is there really no room for reconciliation?" he asked, putting on a pitiful act. "No." Jack's eyes were filled with despair. "Let me think about it for 2 days." For the sake of his prestigious, high-paying job, he eventually signed. Besides the usual division of assets, the agreement had 3 strict clauses. As compensation for the affair, the husband will leave the marriage with nothing. Henceforth, 80% of his annual salary and all other income will be transferred to the wife. The daughter from his marriage to Charlotte will be the sole heir to all parental assets and company shares. Leaving the city hall, Jack called out to me, his voice full of resentment. "You're so vicious. The baby in Tiffany's womb is innocent. He and our daughter are both my children. Can't you stand to see him have a good life? Do you have to be so absolute? Because he doesn't deserve to be born. He deserves nothing. I said coldly. Then a realization hit me. You're saying Tiffany is pregnant. Jack was so provoked by my words he burst into maniacal laughter. That's right. Jack, am going to have a son. Even if you push me to the brink. I have a son. Ha ha. He will grow up surrounded by love, while your daughter will live in the shadow of a single-parent family. Sensitive and insecure no matter how much money she has. My only response was 2 letters. Idiot. You don't know yet, do you? You can no longer have children. The health soups I had been making for him for 2 months contained conflicting substances. They would boost his libido, but they would also make him sterile. I looked at him with pity. Maybe you should check with your group of friends. The babies. Uncle. I issued a statement to clear Jack's name. Even though people were skeptical, no one stays focused on someone else's family drama forever. I managed to quell the storm and save Jack's job. And Jack found out that the baby in Tiffany's womb was indeed his good friend Leo's. The friends turned on each other. During one of their fights, Tiffany was pushed and had a miscarriage. Jack was sterile. My daughter would forever be her parents' only child. Only by going this far could I finally be at ease. Jack would never be able to recover from this. He would have to spend the rest of his life atoning for his affair. This weekend was a good one. I successfully received an offer from a major corporation, ready to return to the professional world and dominate. I also chose Saturday to hold my daughter's 3-month celebration. Jack's parents have 3 grandsons. This was their first granddaughter. They were actually very fond of her. I didn't stop them from attending the party. Having more people love my daughter is not a bad thing. And they had no prior knowledge of what Jack had done. They were very reasonable. They didn't mention their son, just gave me a bank card and a heavy gold locket, and then left. My parents are retired university professors. I'm their only daughter, and they are more than happy to help me with the baby so I can pursue my career. Everything was moving in a good direction. After the party, I found a drunk Jack at my doorstep. He saw me and clung to my leg. Let's get back together. Honey, I'll never mess around again. I really know I was wrong. I kicked him away and called security to remove the unwanted person. Seeing he couldn't convince me, Jack changed his tune. Our child is only a few months old. You don't want her to grow up in a single-parent home, do you? Now you remember you have a daughter. I sneered, kicking him all the way to the elevator. When will you understand? Having a father like you is the real stain on her life. Get lost. Ding. The elevator doors opened, and security quickly dragged him away. At that moment, I had never felt so liberated. The future was bright. My daughters and my good life was just beginning.